Chapter 81 Results After Deep Meditation. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. In the sky, Tang Lu smiled slightly, and the originally shining light of the second soul ring slowly dimmed. It was because of his control over the concealment effect of Void Spirit after opening up the Sea of Spirits that he could now directly hide 3 units whose energy emitted did not exceed level 40, outside the field. The Grandmaster who had been paying attention to the game brightened up and glanced at Tang Lu in the air. A hint of relief flashed across his expression, although Tang San and Zhao Wu were shocked that Ma Hongjun disappeared with fire. Their reaction was not slow. Seeing that he could no longer attack Ma Hongjun, Tang San immediately asked Zhao Wu to change his target. Teammate Tang San sent a message, "Zhao Wu, you go and cut the back row." Zhao Wu, got it. The third soul skill, teleportation, is activated. Zhao Wu's figure instantly appeared 5 meters away, and then tapped her toes on the ground. Her body was full of amazing elasticity and explosive power. After a few ups and downs, she was close to Tang Lu and Oscar, and then she jumped high and used her second soul skill. He used charm and looked at Tang Lu and Oscar. At this time, Dai Mubai was entangled by Zhu Zhuqing and unable to come back for help, and Ma Hongjun didn't know what he was doing now. Seeing it, Tang Lu and Oscar were about to be eliminated. Tang San, out! The master's shout reached everyone's ears in an instant, causing everyone present to be stunned, and then subconsciously looked towards where Tang San was. At this moment, Tang San's blue-silver grass that was originally spread all over the field was actually burned to ashes by the flames. Some of the blue-silver grass that was lucky enough to not be burned out even had purple-red flames burning on it. Looking at Tang San again, he looked helpless, with a bit of a wry smile on his face as he was caught in the air by Flanders. What happened? Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Zhao Wu, and Ning Rongrong all had question marks on their faces. Why was Tang San eliminated? Sister Zhao Wu, goodbye. Tang Lu laughed as he looked at Zhao Wu, who kept approaching them with a look of astonishment on his face, his eyes shining with the purple devil eyes. Then, the second soul skill shone brightly, and the void spirit hide instantly attached itself to himself and Oscar. Immediately afterwards, Oscar took Tang Lu and flew quickly, avoiding Zhao Wu's attack range. So how did Tang San get out? It was naturally Ma Hongjun's credit. Tang San's attention basically stayed on Zhao Wu and Tang Lu, so he temporarily ignored Ma Hongjun in the hidden state, because, subconsciously, he believed that if Ma Hongjun wanted to attack him, he would definitely show his body, giving him enough time to react and avoid it. However, what he didn't expect was that when Ma Hongjun's Phoenix Fire line was almost in front of him and the blue-silver grass around him began to show signs of withering, he realized something was wrong, but now it's too late to avoid it. Therefore, he was saved by Flanders, who had been paying attention to the battle situation. After Tang Lu opened up the Sea of Spirit, his total amount of spiritual power also increased, and it was already infinitely close to that of an ordinary soul saint. Fortunately, Flanders and Zhao Wuji are veteran soul saints with stronger mental power than him. Otherwise, even they couldn't see through Tang Lu's ethereal spirit. Then, Tang San would be defeated by Ma Hongjun's almost full strength. Phoenix Firewire was seriously injured in one blow. Teacher, when did Xiaoyou's void spirit hide become able to hide even his soul skills? Tang San, who was sent to the master by Flanders, immediately began to ask. The master smiled slightly, patted his shoulder, and said, "This is the result of Zhao Lu's deep meditation. Take a good look, he will probably perform even more amazing things later." Later? Tang San looked at the game that was almost over, feeling a little confused. Without Tang San, the battle situation suddenly became much easier for Tang Lu and his team. After killing Tang San, Ma Hongjun, who was in a hidden state, rushed towards Ning Rongrong non-stop and sprayed out another phoenix line of fire, knocking Ning Rongrong out of the game. At this time, Zhu Zhuqing was being restrained by Dai Mubai, and Zhao Wu was too far away from Ning Rongrong and had no time to rescue him. Therefore, Ning Rongrong was also rescued by Flanders and eliminated. Then, Ma Hongjun went to join Dai Mubai and defeated Zhu Zhuqing together with Dai Mubai. In the end, Zhao Wu was the only one left in Tang San's team. It was time for Oscar to eat the second flying mushroom sausage. He led Tang Liufei behind Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun and showed his figure. Tang Lu also released Ma Hongjuan's virtual spirit concealment by the way, so that Oscar could restore the big sausage for him. Then he looked at Xiao Wu and said, "Sister Xiao Wu, do you want to continue?" Xiao Wu snorted dissatisfied and said, "Why continue? I don't want to be tortured. I give up." She knew very well that she alone would never be able to defeat Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun. Tang Lu high-fived Oscar beside him and cheered. "Xiao Lu, I didn't expect your support ability to become so powerful." Ma Hongjun looked at Tang Lu and said with a smile, "After all, it can be said that his surprise just now determined the trend of the entire battle. That kind of attack that gives people no time to react without anyone noticing at all feels really good. Oh, after all, I paid for it by not having food for 3 months. Of course I have to work harder." Tang Lu waved his hand and said with a smile, "At this time, the master also came over with Tang San, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing, and said, 'Okay, now that the competition is over, let me talk about your shortcomings.'" Hearing this, the 8 people quickly lined up in a row and looked at the master seriously for a second. First of all, it's Tang San. Without understanding Tang Lu's true strength, he carelessly underestimated the enemy, which resulted in him being eliminated by Ma Hongjun in a single glance. In the end, it directly led to the failure of your team. If it were on the battlefield, as the captain, if you make such a mistake, it will definitely lead to the destruction of your team. Yes, teacher. Hearing this, Tang San lowered his head in shame. The master nodded slightly, then looked at Xiao Wu and said, "The second one is you, Xiao Wu. When you were approaching Tang Lu and Oscar, you could obviously quickly knock them out, or at least eliminate one of them. But you." Tang San was stunned when he was eliminated, giving Tang Lu and Oscar a chance to escape. If you had ignored Tang Lu or Oscar and continued to attack Tang Lu or Oscar, there would have been a great chance of taking them both away. Then, Ma Hongjun would naturally not have such a big advantage anymore. With your speed and instant if we move, we can definitely stop him before he attacks Ning Rongrong. Master, I know I was wrong. Xiao Wu stuck out her tongue and said embarrassedly. Chapter 82 Everything is known now. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. As for Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong, you two have done your best and there are basically no mistakes. The master looked at Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing and said. His words undoubtedly made Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing secretly sigh in relief. After all, the devil training of the previous 3 months seemed to be still in front of me. Then, there is Dai Mubai. Your mistakes are simply intolerable to me. With your strength, you can easily defeat Zhu Zhuqing, but you have been fighting with her until the end of the game, and you have been merciless. Hearing this, Dai Mubai looked stern and said quickly, I'm sorry, master. Ma Hongjun. The master looked at Ma Hongjun again. Ma Hongjun chuckled and puffed up his chest. After all, he defeated Tang San and Ning Rongrong in succession. The master should praise him, right? However, things went against his expectations, and he was still scolded by the master. Although you eliminated Tang San and Ning Rongrong successively, after defeating Tang San, why did you sacrifice the near and seek the far away, instead of helping Dai Mubai defeat Zhu Zhuqing first? Ma Hongjun was dumbfounded and said, but isn't it common sense to deal with the auxiliary soul masters first on the battlefield? There is nothing wrong with taking down the auxiliary soul master first, but like what happened to you just now, what if Xiao Wu takes advantage of the gap when you attack Ning Rongrong to join Zhu Zhuqing, and the two of them attack Dai Mubai together, causing Dai Mubai to be eliminated? When the time comes, you will have to face Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing alone. Can you handle it? The master accused mercilessly, leaving Ma Hongjun speechless. The master finally looked at Tang Lu. Because of Ma Hongjun's example, Tang Lu was very worried now. As for you, Tang Lu. To be honest, even if your performance in the game just now had some minor flaws, it was generally not a big problem. But tell me, why didn't you go all out during the game? The master said. Hearing this, except for Tang San, the rest of the Shrek 6 monsters all said ah, their voices full of surprise. Teacher, do you want Xiao Lu too? Tang San frowned slightly and said to the master. The master nodded and said, "Yes, Tang Lu, why don't you use your second martial soul Hao Lan spell?" Tang Lu was stunned. Before he could speak, Oscar couldn't bear it any longer and said, "Master, is Xiao Lu a twin martial spirit?" The master nodded and said, "Not only is he a twin martial soul, but his soul power is already level 43. Oscar. Except for Tang San and Tang Lu, everyone else. Everyone couldn't help but cast their eyes on Tang Lu, and their eyes changed. Tang Lu felt uncomfortable, so he said, "Oh, okay, I didn't mean to hide it from you. It's just that there were so many people watching when I entered school. If I exposed the soul sex cultivation, it would be much worse trouble. First of all, the way you look at me will definitely look like this. I feel so uncomfortable. Besides, my second martial soul is a bit special, so I didn't tell you. But now that you have mentioned it, I will show it to you." After Tang Lu finished speaking, he released the third martial spirit, Hao Lan spell. As 4 circles of blue-black soul rings rose from his feet, everyone's eyes once again became surprised and stunned. Looking at the blue-black soul ring on Tang Lu's body that exceeded their understanding of the color of soul rings, they couldn't say anything. Words come, before they could ask, the master explained aloud, "Xiao Lu's second martial spirit is very strange. It can be said to be the first existence that has never been heard of in the entire continent. His second martial spirit is called Hao with blue magic. You not only don't need to hunt soul beasts to obtain soul rings, but you can also cultivate this kind of blue-black soul ring that you have never seen before." Cultivation of a soul ring by yourself? Xiao Wu's body trembled, remembering what Tang Lu told her. The mothers of Xiao San and Xiao Lu are also 100,000-year soul beasts. Now that Xiao Lu can actually cultivate a soul ring by himself, doesn't it mean that he is also a soul beast? Yes. It is precisely because of this characteristic of his second spirit that his first spirit, Void Spirit Blue's Silver Emperor, can attach a 1,000-year level spirit beast to his second spirit ring. Only when he reaches his third spirit ring can he absorb those at the 10,000-year level. The master said, "Xiao Lu, now tell them about the soul skills of your second martial soul." Okay. Since the master chose to expose his third martial soul, Hao Lan, there must be a reason. Moreover, Tang Lu could vaguely guess the master's intention, so he didn't object. He walked up to Oscar, stretched out his hand and patted his neck, while the first blue-black soul ring flashed. "The first soul skill of my Hao Lan spell is called Hao Lan Mark. With skin contact, I can leave a mark on you." After saying that, his second soul ring started to shine, and the next moment, Oscar disappeared in a burst of blue-black light, and appeared 100 meters away in the blink of an eye. My second soul skill is called Hao Lan Teleportation. As the name suggests, it is an instant transfer similar to Sister Xiaowu's third soul skill, except that the distance can be infinite. But the further away, the more soul power I consume. More. Currently, I can have 5 marked objects teleported at will within a range of 100 meters centered on me, consuming very little soul power. As soon as he finished speaking, he teleported Oscar back again. Oscar had a look of novelty on his face, and there was even an unfinished expression on his face. After all, the speed of transmission just now can be said to be a life-saving skill. The third soul skill, called Hao Lan Force Field, can create some tangible barriers, whether used for attack or defense. The fourth soul skill, called Hao Lan Restoration, can make 4 people my soul power, physical strength, etc. instantly return to their peak state, but there was no healing effect and the injuries could not be restored. In addition to the first soul skill and the second soul skill within 100 meters, the third and fourth soul skills were very draining on me. Soul power cannot be used for a long time. When Tang Lu began to introduce his Hao Lan magic soul skills, the surprise on the master's expression never diminished. He had already had high expectations for Tang Lu's Hao Lan magic, but he didn't expect that when he really understood it, it still made him feel extremely surprised. And the reason why he wanted to reveal Tang Lu's third martial spirit was to let the Shrek 7 devils understand him better and trust him more, so that they could have better coordination in the future. However, because the color of the soul ring of Tang Lu's third martial soul is too shocking, it must not be used easily unless it is absolutely necessary. However, they are in Shrek Academy now, in their own territory, so it doesn't matter. Chapter 83 8 People Fight Against Zhao Wuji. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. Xiao Lu, this soul skill of yours is going to reach heaven, it's simply incomprehensible. Dai Mubai's eyes flashed, and he didn't know what he was thinking of. Well, you now know about Tang Lu's second martial spirit. However, he will not use this second martial spirit when fighting with you in the future. And you must be careful and don't be careless. Just tell him about his second martial soul. The master finally ordered, his expression becoming a little stern. Don't worry, master, Xiao Lu is our brother. Will we, the older brothers, put our younger brother into a disadvantageous situation? Oscar smiled, and then he put his arm around Tang Lu's shoulders. Tang Lu looked calm, and then teleported him to a height of 100 meters. Who are you calling brother? Ah! Oscar's screams rang above everyone's heads for a second, and then were teleported back by Tang Lu. Then he stood beside everyone, howling for half a minute with his eyes closed. Ha 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 ha! Everyone laughed at him mercilessly. The master looked at these energetic children and couldn't help but raise the corners of his lips slightly, and then said, Okay, now I will give you half an hour to rest, and then the 8 of you will fight against Zhao Wuji and Fran. Virtue. However, Xiao San, you cannot use the 8 spider spears. Zhao Wuji. Flanders. The 2 people who were having a good time on the side suddenly got into trouble. After hearing what the master said, everyone stopped laughing at Oscar and quickly sat cross-legged on the ground and began to restore the soul power they had previously consumed. After all, both Zhao Wuji and Flanders are soul saints in their 70s. It will not be easy for them to deal with it, so they should recover their soul power quickly and strive to face it in the best condition. Of course, before he began to recover his soul power, Tang Lu did not forget to leave the Hao Lan mark on everyone. Half an hour is not a long time, but it can restore everyone's soul power to a state of 77 or 88. Although Tang Lu could use Hao Lan Fu Yuan to help everyone recover their soul power, it was too mana-consuming, and it was obviously not worth using it here. Half an hour later, the Shrek 7 monsters, plus non-staff member Tang Xiaolu, stood together in a 3-2-3 formation, confronting Zhao Wuji opposite them. The ones standing at the front were naturally Dai Mubai, Tang San and Xiao Wu. In the middle are Ma Hongjun and Zhu Zhuqing, and at the end are the 3 assistants, Oscar, Tang Lu, and Ning Rongrong. After the master announced the start of the game, both sides released their martial spirits almost at the same time. After more than 10 days of training in the Soto City Great Soul Fighting Arena, Zhao Wuji did not dare to underestimate the current combat power of the Shrek 7 monsters. What's more, Tang, who has a powerful soul skill and whose actual combat power is still unknown, has been added to the list. Sixth, he cannot be tolerated without being cautious. The moment the game started, Tang Lu immediately added Void Spirit High to Zhu Zhuqing and Xiao Wu, and then switched to the 3rd Spirit Hao Lan spell, while the 2nd Spirit Ring flashed, Hao Lan Teleport. The next moment, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing, who were hiding, appeared not far behind Zhao Wuji. Just before they disappeared, Ning Rongrong's auxiliary increase also fell on them. The 7 treasures are famous. One is, strength. The other is, speed. The speed increase was added to Zhu Zhuqing, and the strength increase was added to Xiao Wu. At the same time, Tang San and Dai Mubai also rushed towards Zhao Wuji. Taking 3 quick steps, the 2 of them disappeared in the blue-black light, and were teleported by Tang Lu to a distance of about 3 meters in front of Zhao Wuji. Dai Mubai let out a majestic tiger roar, and the 1st and 3rd soul rings lit up instantly, White Tiger Protective Barrier plus White Tiger Vajra Transformation. At the same time as Dai Mubai activated, Tang San also released the entanglement and cobweb restraints on Zhao Wuji, hoping to restrain Zhao Wuji as much as possible. You're good to go. Zhao Wuji laughed twice. The 1st soul ring on his body shone, and a layer of golden air burst out from his body, the 1st soul skill, Fudo Mingwangshen. But Tang Lu's reaction was faster than him. After teleporting Tang San and Dai Mubai, he switched to the Void Spirit Blue's Silver Emperor Spirit again, and then released the 3rd Spirit skill, Void Spirit Protection. The vines accurately wrapped around Dai Mubai, Tang San, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing, who were invisible but quickly approached Zhao Wuji, the Feudal-Ming king's body, which was originally enough to push several people away, only caused the clothes on several people to move slightly. Moreover, under Tang Lu's mental control, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing did not show their bodies. At this time, Tang Lu shouted to Ma Hongjun, "Fat man, go over now and spray him with anger." As soon as he finished speaking, he used the second soul skill of Hao Lan spell that he had already switched to teleport Ma Hongjun into the air diagonally above Zhao Wuji's right side. Understood. Ma Hongjun's voice came through at this time, and then his two soul rings shone, and while his whole body was covered with purple-red phoenix evil fire, he also sprayed out phoenix fire rays at Zhao Wuji's head. At this time, it happened that Zhao Wuji released his Feudal-Ming body and was in a state where his old power was not exhausted and his new power was not developed, so Ma Hongjun's phoenix fire line successfully landed on Zhao Wuji's face. "Fuck you, little bastard." Zhao Wuji wiped away the phoenix flames above his head, thus avoiding the fate of being bald. He yelled, and then struck Ma Hongjun, who was falling in the air, with a powerful Vajra palm. But Ma Hongjun smiled obscenely at him, and then disappeared in the blue-black light, returning to Tang Lu's three assistants. At this time, Tang San's blue-silver grass and spider web restraints also came to Zhao Wuji, tightly entangling and restricting him. At the same time, Dai Mubai on the side also released a white tiger fierce light wave that landed on Zhao Wuji. Originally, the white tiger fierce light wave was also going to destroy Tang San's blue-silver grass, but when Tang Lu teleported Ma Hongjun back, he switched to the Void Spirit Blue-Silver Emperor again and added the Void Spirit control to Tang San. As a result, Dai Mubai's white tiger fierce light wave passed directly through the blue-silver grass and landed on Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji forcefully ate the white tiger glitter pen that had gone through the white tiger protective barrier and the white tiger Vajra transformation amplification. However, because his defense was too terrifying, he was only slowly pushed outward by the force of the white tiger's fierce light wave and was not injured. However, in addition to Dai Mubai, there were two invisible assassins behind Zhao Wuji. "Why don't you say little bear is blind?" Xiao Wu's voice rang in Zhao Wuji's ears, but Zhao Wuji just couldn't see the person, but the next moment, he felt as if someone was stepping on him, and at the same time, the person's feet were stuck in his neck. Chapter 84: The Powerful Effect of Hao Lan's Spell. You are listening at NaVelFull.audio. The next moment, combined with the thrust of the white tiger's fierce light wave and the force transmitted by Tang San's pull on the blue-silver grass, with the combined efforts of the three of them, Zhao Wuji was suddenly thrown flying by the huge force coming from his neck. The moment Zhao Wuji's feet left the ground, a blue-black transparent barrier appeared under his feet. Immediately afterwards, the barrier bounced Zhao Wuji away like a trampoline. On the other side, the third blue-black soul ring on Tang Lu's body flickered, Hao Lan's third soul skill, Hao Lan Force Field. However, Hao Lan's spell was really too mana-consuming. It only bounced Zhao Wuji away, and coupled with the consumption of previous soul skills, Tang Lu's soul power in his body had now been consumed by as much as 40%, so, he immediately stuffed several large recovery sausages into his body and restored a little soul power. After that, Hao Lan Force Field was used again, and appeared a little below not far from Zhao Wuji. At this time, there was also a civet-like figure with its toes pointing on it. It was Zhu Zhuqing. With the foothold provided by Hao Lan Force Field, Zhu Zhuqing's figure climbed higher again, and in an instant he was beside Zhao Wuji in the air. Then, the second soul ring lit up, 100 Claws of the Netherworld. Countless sparks splashed out from the place where Zhu Zhuqing's cat claws came into contact with Zhao Wuji's body, showing Zhao Wuji's defensive power. Teacher Zhao's skin is so thick. Tang Lu muttered, and then teleported Ma Hongjun again, letting him come to the side of Zhao Wuji again. "Fat man, soften your skin a little bit for Teacher Zhao." "Teacher Zhao, you heard it too. It was Tang Lu who asked me to do this. If you are angry, go find him." Ma Hongjun in the air chuckled, and then the phoenix line of fire under the phoenix's amplification was directed towards Zhao sprayed on Wuji's face. Zhao Wuji looked at the phoenix flames that were about to burn his face darkened, and then he shouted loudly, "You little guys, if I don't show off, you think I'm a sick cat." As soon as he finished speaking, his third and fifth soul rings lit up, increased gravity, squeezed by gravity. But just before he activated, Tang Lu used Hao Lan Restore to replenish himself, and then attached the Void Spirit Protection to Dai Mubai, Tang San, Xiao Wu, who were closest to Zhao Wuji. Zhu Zhuqin and Ma Hongjun helped them avoid most of the damage caused by Zhao Wuji's soul skills. The reason why he didn't use the Void Spirit Protection directly was because if he just used it, the soul power would be insufficient, and Hao Lan Rejuvenation would no longer be able to use it. Therefore, he first used the free trial of Hao Lan Restoration to add blue to himself, and then added Void Spirit Protection to a few people. Fortunately, he had enough time. Therefore, Zhao Wuji, whose soul skills were almost useless to Shrek students, was once again covered in flames by Ma Hongjun. Ma Hongjun, you're finished. Zhao Wuji wiped away the flames on his face and looked at Ma Hongjun fiercely. Ma Hongjun trembled, and then was teleported back by Tang Lu. At the same time, Zhu Zhuqing and Xiao Wu were also teleported back, and Tang San and Dai Mubai in front also retreated sharply, away from Zhao Wuji. Boom! At this moment, Zhao Wuji fell from the air, making a violent sound, and immediately raised a large cloud of smoke and dust. Ah, my playground, what a big pit this is, and how much money it will cost to repair. Flanders said with a heartbroken look on his face as he looked at the place where Zhao Wuji fell, his tone full of sadness. The master next to him rolled his eyes at him, and then said, "It's just a piece of dirt anyway. You can fill it up sometime. With the speed of your soul saint, it won't take more than one night, right?" Flanders. Humph, Zhao Wuji smashed it out. Of course he has to fill it in by himself. Why should I do it? Flanders said fiercely. The master smiled slightly and then said, "What do you think of these little guys?" To be honest, after adding Tang Lu, their cooperation is still a bit rough, but Tang Lu's soul skills are really unreasonable. Once they get the upper hand, it will be almost difficult for the opponent to fight back. However, Lao Zhao's defense is really too strong, and you don't allow Tang San to use the 8 spider spears, so there's nothing they can do for a while. However, if all of them can reach level 40 or above, then Lao Zhao is definitely no match. Speaking of the students, Flender, as the dean, suddenly became serious. The master nodded and said, "You are right. If all of them can reach the level of the soul sect, let alone Zhao Wuji, with Xiao Lu, even if you are added, they will not be able to defeat them." Flanders sighed slightly, but his tone was full of relief. "We are old, the future will eventually belong to these children." The master also smiled and then stopped the game. Zhao Wuji walked over with a depressed look on his face and stood next to Flanders. Flanders smiled and patted his shoulder, comforting him. "Old Zhao, don't be discouraged. Didn't they defeat you too? Boss Fu, you put it lightly. Tang Lu's teleportation and the damage-free soul skill are really uncomfortable. It doesn't matter if you hit it, but if you hit it, there won't be any damage." Zhao Wuji smiled bitterly. "Road. He, although I pity you, the playground still needs to be repaired if it is broken. Since you made this hole yourself, then you should be responsible for filling it in." Flanders smiled, and the lenses of his glasses were all stained. Flash, Zhao Wuji. On the other side, the master also called the 8 people together and began to point out their shortcomings in the previous battle. Although it was just a simple battle, everyone still felt that they had benefited a lot. The Shrek 7 monsters, in particular, had a deeper understanding of Tang Lu's soul skills, and were even more amazed by the effects and conveniences his soul skills could bring. Okay, that's it for today. You can rest today and don't need to participate in the soul fighting competition. Starting from tomorrow, Tang Lu will also participate in the soul fighting competition with you. However, unlike you, he does not need to obtain the silver soul fighting badge. I will tell you the specific arrangements when we go to the soul fighting arena tomorrow. Disband now. After talking about the competition just now, the master briefly explained the second stage of Tang Lu's training, and then asked everyone to disperse and rest. Of course, after hearing that Tang Lu didn't need to obtain the silver fighting soul badge, the 7 monsters were a little envious of him. Don't be envious. If you also reach level 40, you might be able to receive the same treatment as me. Tang Lu looked stern. Chapter 88 8 People Cooperate. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Originally, the 38th level Dai Mubai suffered some hidden losses under the attack of the 30 NaN F level Flame Lion Soul Master. But at the moment when the two were about to collide, two auxiliary skills fell on Dai Mubai at the same time. The 7 treasures are famous, and the second one is power. 30% of the power increase instantly fell on Dai Mubai, making his power instantly surpass that of the Flame Lion Soul Master. At the same time, a section of Blue Void Spirit Blue Silver Emperor was wrapped around Dai Mubai's left arm. The first soul skill, the control of virtual spirits, that the Flame Lion Soul Master's fist immediately passed through Dai Mubai's body. With such suddenness, the Flame Lion Soul Master had no time to withdraw his strength, so his whole body fell forward, but although Dai Mubai's fist also passed through the Flame Lion Soul Master's arm, it actually landed on the Flame Lion Soul Master's chest. As a result, Dai Mubai was unscathed by this attack, but the Flame Lion Spirit Master was blown away by his punch that increased his power by 30%. Just as the Flame Lion Soul Master flew upside down and had no time to control his body. Dai Mubai's second soul ring also shone, the second soul skill, White Tiger Fierce Light Wave. The platinum beam of light instantly fell on the Flame Lion Soul Master's chest, knocking him far away in the air again, but at this time, the Wolf Soul Master and Leopard Soul Master of the 8 Heroes team also arrived, and then attacked Dai Mubai from both sides. The Wolf Spirit Master's spirit is the Nether Wolf, and the Leopard Spirit Master's spirit is the Lightning Leopard. They are both spirits known for their speed, and they are extremely fast. Seeing that he was being targeted by 2 agility and attack-type Soul Masters, Dai Mubai did not dodge and rushed forward. After all, he still has the effect of the Void Spirit control on his body, and he is not afraid of the 2 people's attacks at all. Dai Mubai punched the Nether Wolf and the Lightning Leopard respectively. As a result, both the Nether Wolf and the Lightning Leopard took more than 10 steps back, but Dai Mubai was not harmed at all. The moment the Nether Wolf Soul Master and the Lightning Leopard Soul Master were repelled, Zhao Wu not far away from Dai Mubai also moved. The third soul skill was teleported, and in the blink of an eye he was behind the Nether Wolf Soul Master, then stepped on his waist with both feet, and then launched the first soul skill, Waist Bow. The Nether Wolf Soul Master was immediately kicked away by Zhao Wu like a cannonball. The Waist Bow could have an extremely terrifying increase in Zhao Wu's strength. Not to mention that before she took action, Ning Rongrong's increase in strength also reached Zhao Wu, almost in the blink of an eye. The Nether Wolf Spirit Master passed Dai Mubai and Tang Lu and came to Tang San. Tang San immediately used his first soul skill, Entanglement, on the Nether Wolf Soul Master. While the blue silver grass tied him into a rice dumpling, the paralyzing toxins and corrosive toxins were also rapidly consuming his soul power. At the same time, Tang San also stepped forward on the Ghost Shadow, and Xian Yu's hand immediately slapped the Nether Wolf Soul Master's chest. The Nether Wolf Soul Master felt a strong force coming from his chest, which made his throat tingle and blood ooze from the corners of his mouth. Zhao Wu's blow just now hadn't allowed him to recover, but now Tang San landed another blow on him, causing his combat effectiveness to plummet and making him unable to break away from the blue-silver grass. Tang San smiled slightly, then took the blue-silver grass in his hand and threw the Nether Wolf Spirit Master towards the outside of the competition stage. At the same time that Tang San took action against the Nether Wolf Soul Master, Han Feng and Han Yu behind the 8 Heroes team also released their long-charged soul skills. The 3 soul rings on their bodies lit up almost at the same time, and a total of 6 soul skills were released at the same time. The targets are Oscar, Ning Rongrong, and Ma Hongjun at the back of Shrek. A strong wind suddenly blew on the field, and the air became extremely humid. Oscar, Ning Rongrong, Ma Hongjun and the other 3 people in the rear felt it was difficult to breathe under the blow of the wind. At the same time, the increasingly humid air around them also made the weight on their bodies become heavier and heavier. Being blown by the strong wind, Ma Hongjun did not dare to use his soul skills at will, fearing that the wind would blow his flames towards Oscar and Ning Rongrong beside him and hurt them. Fortunately, they are not in trouble, because they all still have a piece of blue-silver grass tied to their bodies. Tang San pulled hard, and the 3 of them immediately rushed forward and came to his side. as soon as he landed, Oscar kept making large recovery sausages for several people to eat, restoring their consumed physical and soul power. Seeing that the three of them escaped from their attack range, Han Feng and Han Yu quickly controlled their soul skills to catch up with the three of them, but at this moment, a faint light flickered quietly behind the two of them. Zhu Zhuqing didn't know when he appeared behind the two of them, and then released his second soul skill. Netherworld 100 Claws, towards the two of them. Han Feng, Han Yu, and the female auxiliary soul master were shocked because they really didn't understand why Zhu Zhuqing appeared next to them without them noticing at all. The soul skill of the auxiliary soul master whose martial soul is Yuzhu is healing. Seeing that Han Feng and Han Yu, because their main attacks are at Shrek's rear, have no way to defend themselves for the time being, they must be attacked by Zhu Zhuqing. When she was injured, she wanted to use her soul skills to heal the two of them, but at this moment, she suddenly felt her vision go dark, and she was thrown high into the air, and finally landed outside the competition stage. When he came back to his senses, he happened to see Xiao Wu disappearing again and rushing towards Han Feng and Han Yu. What's going on? Didn't Dong Dong pester her? The Yuzhu soul master thought doubtfully in his heart. Dong Dong is the lightning leopard spirit master from the 8 Heroes team. The lightning leopard soul master indeed attacked Xiao Wu after Xiao Wu knocked away the nether wolf soul master, but when he just took action, Xiao Wu disappeared immediately, but time did not allow him to be confused, because Dai Mubai came to him again at that time and attacked him, so he had to resist. The female soul master whose martial spirit was a long whip, together with the flaming lion soul master who rushed back, attacked Dai Mubai again. Therefore, the rear of the 8 Heroes team fell into emptiness. Zhu Zhuqing, who had already become invisible under the effect of the void spirit's hidden soul, and Xiao Wu, who had just become invisible, rushed towards Han Feng, Han Yu, and the Jade Pearl female soul master respectively. By the time the 8 Heroes team came to their senses, the Yuzhu female soul master and the Nether Wolf soul master were already out. Han Feng and Han Yu were also struggling to hold on under the attacks of Zhu Zhuqing and Xiao Wu. Therefore, the whipped female soul master immediately gave up on Dai Mubai and wanted to go back to rescue Han Feng and Han Yu, while the flame lion soul master continued to move towards Dai Mubai, but at this moment, Dai Mubai was pulled back by Tang San's blue silver grass, far away from the charging flame lion and lightning leopard. Chapter 89 Natural Immunity to All Attributes. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. When pulling Dai Mubai back, Tang San also bound himself with a spider web and threw it towards the flame lion and lightning leopard. As soon as the second soul ring on the lightning leopard's body lit up, he turned into a bolt of lightning and avoided the constraints of the spider web, leaving only the flame lion facing him. Seeing Tang San's cobweb restraint approaching, the flame lion spirit master did not panic. The first and second spirit rings on his body flashed, and then he spat out a mouthful of orange-red flames towards the cobweb restraint. The first soul skill, Flame Protection. The second soul skill is the Flaming Lion's Roar. Originally, in the view of the Flame Lion Spirit Master, his own flames could definitely burn Tang San's spider web restraints. But what surprised him was that the flames he sprayed went directly through the spider web restraints without damaging the spider web restraints at all. The Flame Lion Soul Master was shocked. How so? Being so surprised, the Flame Lion Soul Master missed the best time to escape and was bound by the spider web. The moment he was tied up, he immediately activated his first soul skill with all his strength, trying to burn the cobwebs bound, but his flames could not burn the blue-silver grass bound by the cobwebs at all. It was as if the blue-silver grass in front of him was an illusion and not the real thing at all. But the feeling of being unable to move is extremely real, although he couldn't feel the blue-silver grass, and the flames on his body couldn't burn the blue-silver grass. He was still tightly bound and couldn't break free. On the other side, Tang Lu couldn't help but smile, and then used Void Spirit Hide to hide his figure. Under the effect of his first soul skill, Void Spirit Control, Tang San no longer had to worry about the blue-silver grass that was originally afraid of flames being burned easily. No, in the state of Void Spirit Control, Tang San's blue-silver grass would not be burned by any flames or destroyed by attacks of any attribute. In addition to being the effect of Tang Lu's first soul skill, Void Spirit Control, this is also the innate ability of Tang Lu's Void Spirit Blue-Silver Emperor, naturally immune to all attributes. Let me ask, how can an incorporeal thing be hurt by other things? After Tang San saw that the Flame Lion Spirit Master was restrained, he immediately rushed towards the Lightning Leopard Spirit Master with Dai Mubai. Blue silver grass swarmed out, blocking the Lightning Leopard Spirit Master's dodge route as much as possible, giving Dai Mubai an opportunity to attack. Upon seeing this, the Lightning Leopard Soul Master immediately wanted to repeat his old trick, using his second soul skill to turn into lightning, and escape from the gaps before the blue silver grass was completely closed, but at this moment, Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun moved at the same time. The White Tiger's fierce light wave and the Phoenix's fire line spurted out instantly. Before the Lightning Leopard Soul Master launched his soul skill, they met behind him and formed a triangle to surround the Lightning Leopard Soul Master. The Lightning Leopard Soul Master who had just turned into lightning, suddenly he was stunned for a moment, and then immediately flew upwards, trying to cross Dai Mubai's White Tiger fierce light wave. However, it was already too late at this time, because Tang San's spider web restraint had already arrived on his only path. The spider web opened instantly, wrapping the electric light inside. But the Lightning Leopard Spirit Master's second soul skill was also amazing. After being wrapped in Tang San's spider web, he escaped from the gap in the spider web in just 2 seconds, and was out of Tang San's blue. After the silver grass restrained the area, his figure reappeared. It's just that his face is a little pale now, and it's obvious that his soul power has been consumed a lot. After seeing him escaping again, Tang San and Dai Mubai were a little surprised, but their movements were not slow at all. It can be seen from this that there is a huge gap in the degree of cooperation and tacit understanding between the players on both sides. When the Lightning Leopard Soul Master saw the two men charging towards him again without hesitation, his expression changed, and then he quickly fled towards the back. When he quickly passed by the Flame Lion Soul Master, he looked back, only to find that everyone in Shrek behind him had disappeared. Before he could be surprised for too long, he felt himself being knocked away by a huge force. After rolling around on the competition stage for a few times, he saw the person who attacked him, and the person's hands that had turned jade-colored. Tang Lu looked at the Lightning Leopard Spirit Master on the ground and smiled slightly, and then used Void Spirit Hide on himself, and his figure disappeared from the spot. The next moment, the Lightning Leopard Soul Master felt the hairs all over his body stand up, so he immediately ran away into the distance. But before he could escape a few steps, he felt his body tighten, and countless blue-silver grasses instantly surged out of him, wrapping him tightly. Thousand-Hand Shura Tang San, blue-silver grasses second soul skill, parasitism. Although the Lightning Leopard Spirit Master had escaped from Tang San's spider web previously, he also had the seeds of the blue-silver grass left on his body. So at this moment, the Lightning Leopard Spirit Master was caught unprepared. The forward figure suddenly fell out and fell into the mud on the competition stage. Just when he was about to use up all his soul power to activate his second soul skill again, Tang Lu's figure appeared from beside him again, and then he used Controlling Crane and Capturing Dragon, grabbed the Lightning Leopard's body, and then raised his leg to kicked him into the air. The moment the Lightning Leopard Soul Master flew into the air, he suddenly seemed to be hit by a huge force, and then flew out of the competition stage. Tang Lu waved his hand, and Dai Mubai's ethereal concealment was lifted, and then he saw the traces left by the White Tiger's fierce light wave in the air. It was Dai Mubai's long-awaited White Tiger fierce light wave that knocked the Lightning Leopard off the stage. The 8 British team lost another person. Tang Lu cast his gaze towards the cold wind and rain in the distance, and found that the two people were being beaten by Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing. There is no way, due to the cold wind and cold rain elemental martial arts, they are very bad at close combat, and their physical fitness is not as good as Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing, so once they are close, they can only rely on elemental martial arts to fight. The special nature of the soul struggled to hold on, but it couldn't last long. Tang Lu looked at Han Feng and Han Yu, who were separated, and nodded. Now, even if the two of them really have martial soul fusion skills, they can't use them when they are far away from each other. And it was only a matter of time before he was defeated by Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing. But at this moment, a sudden change occurred. "Xiao Lu, be careful!" Tang Lu heard Tang San's cry, so he immediately used the third soul skill Void Spirit Protection on himself. The first soul skill, Void Spirit Control, is still with Tang San, because Tang San still relies on his Void Spirit Control to restrain the Flame Lion Soul Master, who is the captain of the 8 Heroes team, and he was extremely confident in Tang San's spider web restraint, subconsciously thinking that the Flame Lion Spirit Master would be unable to break free. After all, he couldn't break free with strength, and the flames kept burning the blue-silver grass, so how could the Flame Lion Soul Master escape from the shackles of the spider web? Chapter 90 The Psychedelic Gaze Shows Its Power. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. So he thought that it was the whip female Soul Master from the 8 Heroes team who took action against him, but didn't the other party go to support Hanfeng and Hanyu? No matter what, with the third soul skill, he believed that he could withstand the next attack, but it backfired. The Flame Lion Soul Master really escaped from Tang San's spider web, relying on his third soul skill, Fire Lion Phantom. The effect of his soul skill is to create a phantom of a flaming lion behind a target within a range of 100 meters. Then he can control the phantom of the flaming lion to attack, or directly teleport to the location of the phantom of the flaming lion. When the Flame Lion Spirit Master came behind Tang Lu, he immediately launched his first spirit skill, and then punched Tang Lu in the back, but if it was just such a blow, with Tang Lu's extremely effective third soul skill, he could take it hard. But just when the Flame Lion Spirit Master's fist was about to fall on Tang Lu, a black whip appeared out of thin air around Tang Lu's waist, wrapping around him. It was the whip female Soul Master who took action. The 300-year-old soul rings on the whip female Soul Master were seen flashing alternately, and the long whip that was originally in her hand disappeared without knowing when. The first soul skill, Whip Lock, instantly locks onto a target within 100 meters and immediately removes all soul skill effects previously suffered by the target. The second soul skill, Whipping, reduces the hit target's defense and resistance to soul skills. The third soul skill, Shadow Binding, puts the hit target into a frozen state. At the same time, the damage received by the target in the frozen state will be increased by 50%. Although the spirit ring of this female whip spirit master is only 300 years old, the effect of every spirit skill is very strong. At least, it can restrain Tang Lu's spirit skills very well. Although Tang Lu's third soul skill, Void Spirit Protection, can avoid 95% of the damage caused by attacks against him, as well as reduce the effects of special soul skills, such as knocking back, freezing, etc., these can theoretically achieve the maximum effect. The effect is 90% excellent, but he can't stand the fact that there are so many debuffs thrown at him, and all of them are to lower the defense and increase the intensity of the attacks he receives. Under the effect of the Whip Lock, the first soul skill of the Long Whip female Soul Master, Tang Lu was relieved of the ethereal protection effect he received. Although 90% of the optimal effect was eliminated by the Void Spirit's protection, Tang Lu only had about 30% of damage immunity and damage reduction left in the end. Coupled with the subsequent whipping and shadow binding, and the heavy debuffs, the Flame Lion Soul Master's punch can definitely hurt him. As for why the Flame Lion chose to attack Tang Lu, it was also because he discovered Tang Lu's effect on the Shrek 7 monsters in this battle. Therefore, with the mentality that defeating Tang Lu would have a chance to save the situation, he chose to take the lead in attacking Tang Lu. Take action. Moreover, in the view of the Flame Lion Spirit Master, Tang Lu was only an auxiliary Spirit Master, and it was more than enough to take him down. As a result, Tang Lu, whose defense had been reduced to the lowest level and was in a state of immobilization, forcefully received a nearly full-force punch from the Flame Lion Spirit Master. His figure immediately flew outwards, and he spit out a mouthful of blood at the same time. At this time, Han Feng and Han Yu suddenly broke out, and actually used the ring-melting technique respectively. The sudden attack power directly knocked Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing away, causing them to lose their strength. Combat effectiveness. Then, the two quickly came to each other and hugged each other. In the venue, the elements of wind and water rose violently, entangled and merged. The water element turned into a dark cloud above the competition stage, and was blown up by the wind, forming a swirling cloud layer. The next moment, the rain was pouring and the wind was blowing. Martial Spirit Fusion Skills, King of Feng's Storm. The Whip female Soul Master also launched her soul skill again, hitting the remaining Daimubai, Tang San, and Ma Hongjun one after another. The Martial Soul Fusion skill also fell immediately, leaving all the remaining people in Shrek with almost no ability to resist. The Flame Lion's Soul Master then eliminated everyone from Shrek one by one and knocked them off the competition stage. 1. I declare that the 8 Heroes team has won this game, that the host's voice sounded at the right time, and then the entire audience cheered. Everyone in the 8 Heroes team laughed happily. Xiao Lu, your illusion is really powerful. A few of them have been standing there without moving from just now. Oscar looked at the Flame Lion who was trapped in place by the spider web, with dull eyes. The Soul Master, and the whip female Soul Master behind her who kept running and wanted to rescue Han Feng and Han Yu, who were also stagnant in place, clicked their tongues. The area around Tang Lu's left eye socket was now filled with green flames, and his pupils also turned green. It's just that it's blocked by the mask, so you can't see the circle of flame patterns. It is the left eye of the demon eye with the psychedelic gaze attached to the soul bone. After listening to Oscar's words, Tang Lu smiled and said, "There's no other way. I'll crush him with mental power." Who told Master not to prohibit me from using the externally attached soul bone? Xiao Lu, you didn't tell the teacher at all. Aren't you afraid that the teacher will scold you later? Tang San said with a smile. I forgot about it myself. Tang Lu looked aggrieved. Everyone in the Shrek monster group had gathered around Tang Lu at this time. They couldn't help but laugh when they looked at the sluggish 8 Heroes team opposite. From the moment the Flame Lion's Soul Master was hit by the spider web, Tang Lu began to use psychedelic gaze, causing the Flame Lion's Soul Master, the Whip Female Soul Master, and Han Feng Hanyu to all fall into infantasy. It was true that the Nether Wolf Spirit Master and the Yuzhu Female Spirit Master of the 8 Heroes team were eliminated before. And it was also true that Tang Lu and Dai Mubai worked together to knock the Lightning Leopard Spirit Master out of the competition, but everything that happened after that was everything the members of the 8 Heroes team experienced in the illusion were all fake. Everyone in the Shrek monster group turned to look at the host at the same time. The host also knew that if the Shrek people were willing, they could throw all the remaining members of the 8 Heroes team off the stage, so he immediately announced the victory of the Shrek monster team. I declare the winner of this game, the Shrek monster group. Congratulations to them for winning 20 consecutive group battles. Yeah. Tang Lu took the lead, and Ning Rongrong, Xiao Wu, Oscar, and Ma Hongjun all cheered. After they got off the competition stage, Tang Lu released the illusion that the 8 Heroes team had suffered. Of course, Tang San didn't forget to take back the spider web restraint on the Flame Lion Spirit Master. As for what everyone in the 8 Heroes team will think in the future, that is not their concern.